Yeah, yeah,
In my
sure.
class, we were around 20, and 10 were Japanese and 10 were foreigners, actually.
Oh, nice.
And every all the foreigners except myself were Asian descendants. I was the only one speaking English.
Oh no. Oh no, no,
So
no. I mean, like, wow, that
that was
sounds
big.
rough. That sounds rough.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mar, and I founded animation studio here in Tokyo, in Japan. After I worked here in Japan in marketing stuff, while I was also doing comic, and I graduated from a vocational school where I learned animation, like 2D animation in Tokyo. Today, we'll talk a bit about that experience. I graduated back in like 2018 because today we have a guest that's studying animation in another vocational school right now. We'll have Kaichu talking about that, so it will be quite interesting. Kai was having some like questions, issues, and some experiences that were asking me like, "Oh, did you also happen like to have like these experiences? How was it for you?" and so on. And we decided, okay, how about we have this conversation live? So I already have the questions. What was it like to be in the same classroom with Japanese high school graduates? Was the age/cultural gap a problem when it comes to communications? I replied to the question of how it was for me, but I'd love to hear from Kaichu how it was for you. So let's get real conversation. I was 24, I guess 23, 24, because yeah, I graduated from university at 22, had like some thought of like the year and then studied Japanese, everything. I think it was about 24, 25, 26 when I was in the vocational school. Now, my classmates were 29 to 20, sorry, 19 to 21. So even with the oldest, I already had a gap. And it was very odd because as Kaichi just called me, I'm like the senpai, like I'm the eldest, right? That comes with experience. But actually I felt so stupid because many things that they knew just because they've been in the industry, because they can understand 100% or 90% of what the teacher's saying, just that. Like I kept asking things many times that I knew they already taught me. I knew I couldn't get everything of the information they told me. I didn't understand some things on the language. I didn't understand many things about the culture, about the animation industry that they have grown seeing. And if they enter animation school, most likely they already know a lot of like pop culture. So in many things, I just felt stupid, honestly. But I had to absorb a persona that is just silly, but shamelessly asking again. Like that a persona that's okay with making mistakes in front of people, a persona like I have to be okay. It's just like I didn't understand. If I keep just going, it will get worse and worse and worse. I need to ask for a third time. Yes, I will annoy them. Yes, but I'll have to. And I develop a lot of like thick skin on like being shameless on asking things.
No, I don't think that's shameless. I think that's just being honest, and being
But
honest
yeah,
is always good.
I mean, but it's hard. At least I don't know,
Yeah.
like for the person, like okay, I'm someone who's used to like getting like top grades, like being like someone who gets it and gets it fast. But I was not that person anymore. So I was like relearning
Yeah.
on like humility and going after it. Okay, like let's use that. So that was one part on the age gap and like cultural gap went into. It's like that. Um, yeah, that's one side. There's other things I will comment on that question, but how do you feel about that? Like, is this something you also feel, or do you feel it different?
For me, it was also like I felt like the part you just like said, and just learn to be like learn to accept the fact that you're a beginner is it can be
Mm.
pretty hard sometimes. So especially like I'm sure you might did it as well, but before getting to the vocational school we might have been like practice like
Yeah.
drawings and whatever, but then like you have to like start over, like all over again. And then especially for some of the like the drawing like techniques and whatever, it's so different from like what we learned, like either on ourselves or like you like back in the
Exactly.
uni. So like you have to like just like throw all the stuff away like you already learned, and you have to start from zero, and
Yeah.
that can be really tough. But well, you're doing pretty
That's what
well
you're
now,
going
so
for.
yeah.
You're going there to learn. So in
Yeah,
a
and
way,
then
it makes perfect
another thing
sense.
is like I think for foreigners, especially like sometimes I get the feeling that yeah, it's kind of awkward. It's like oh, I'm bothering them, but then I was like I paid all this money, and it's like it's maybe it's your job to like teach me. So I know sometimes I can be annoying, but then it's we're in class
Yeah.
and you're. I mean, like vocational school teachers, it's just teachers, it's also like a job. So
Yeah.
they're doing their job, and yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm also like having a thick skin right now. I mean, we're just being honest. There's nothing
Yeah.
like awkward about it. Also,
Yeah.
like for like, yeah, went too far about the age and everything. I think for me, it was like a lot of kids in my class. They are, I think the youngest one is like 18 years old, and the
Mhm.
oldest one like among the Japanese, so not
Yeah.
including the
Yeah. Yeah.
foreigners,
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
and the
That's what I said
is like
before.
20 years old, I think. So
Hmm.
and they didn't really, have the experience as like Japanese people said, a member of the society.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm
They're starting to adult themselves.
Yeah, they're going through a transitioning
Yeah.
period, but their mindset is still like back in high school. It takes some time to, like to get to the stages where they're well prepared for like an interview, like to get a job or something. And then it's like, I mean, we are communicating, but there's nothing more than like class works and including some of the interests. But then when you want to talk about like we're like older than them, so of course we're thinking about like the job, like they're also thinking about it, but it's different when you
It feels far
like
away.
you're older, you get older, and
Yeah.
especially you're a foreigner, and with all the like the your future and like career path and also visa and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot to like think about. And then like um when you really want to like ask question about it or like just like talk about it, and but the kids in my class, they haven't understand like how it works yet. um so it's a bit difficult, I guess.
Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to mention as well. Like the maturity level is different in some cases. Like obviously there's always like different people and so on. And even in I was the eldest, not just in between the Japanese, but also the other foreigners. So I was like really the onesa, like the big sister on the class. So there was a bit of like a difference on maturity level. But actually,
Mm.
even more than maturity, I think the cultural gap is usually a bit more bigger. But
Yeah.
what you mentioned that's even more important is the stakes. Our stakes felt much different because this is really the first, like after this we must get a job. We cannot just go back to our parents' house in the like in that same city or in this same
Yeah.
country. Like the companies we will be allowed to enter to are different. We have to worry about visas. We have to worry differently about expenses. Do we need a part-time job? Obviously, I'm not saying that it's easier for Japanese because they have their own set of struggles,
Mm.
obviously. Um, but the stakes and the things we worry about are different. And thus, how we learn, how we communicate would also be different in that sense. So, like, what seems to work like well for them, and you may feel jealous, like, oh, well, they can just like stay in the room in their parents until they make enough money to move. They have other issues, but obviously, you
Yes.
have those, and you have to worry about that yourself. Like, okay, like, when do I have to renew my visa? Do I have to learn Keigo more to impressed? Do I build my portfolio this way or that other way? So that's really a key thing. And I'm glad you brought the topic, because like this is exactly a key. And it's not just about the age gap anymore. It's like you have different obstacles and thus different goals and different things to surpass. And you feel that a lot, uh, like different from your classmates, really.
Yeah, and it's that's why like we're talking right here, because like maybe it's you're gonna solve it like on your own, but it's always nice to like have someone to like talk about it, you know, because like
Yeah.
Japanese kids like they have their own problems, but they're the
Yeah.
same age and they're all like Japanese, so at least they can like, you know, talk about it with each other. But then like there's this like there's one day I was like just sitting there and like looking at my, you know, you have to extend the visa and whatever. And then this like Japanese gal next to me, she was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I have to
A
renew
nightmare.
this and this." And she was like, "Oh, I don't know about this, but good luck." I was like, "All right, thank you."
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah, I must have to say like kudos though, because obviously we're having like this like that feels that is like extra issues that they don't have. But at the same time, I want to be appreciative with like many of my Japanese classmates helped me a lot when I didn't understand the teacher. Like, what did they say? What's this? Like, they just give you papers, like 3 papers with all the written kanji. And I'm like, and I will
What?
be like, what is this? And they'll tell, oh, this is for an event we're doing next week. And they give me the context. And just with that, they saved me from having to go online, type some kanjis. What is this document about? Do I have to pay anything? Is this mandatory? Like, they just tell me like quickly. Like, they don't have to
Oh,
translate for their foreigner classmate, right? But they did. And that was very kind and nice. And I really appreciated it. Like, it was like, okay, thank you, because it's
yeah.
hard. It's hard. It's like, okay, like every time they give us papers, I was like, please, someone, can someone make me the favor of not having to spend an afternoon lost in this? Like, knowing
Yeah, even
what
for
to do
me,
and
like
so on.
I can read like the kanji and stuff, but it's so overwhelming because the
It's
paperwork
overwhelming.
here.
It's a lot of paperwork, and it's in paper. Sometimes the prints are not super good. So if you but you can just like take a picture and put in a software, like that's already work, by the way, that you cannot just like quickly do because they're following up with a class. Like maybe the like the print is not super clean or it's full of information there, so you can just put the document online and hide the translation because it's full of like little different colors and cropped and turned and rotated and everything, so you can just like go and translate it even digitally. So it really gets overwhelming. And like it's like bad print quality. Yeah, just a lot of paper. I'm very glad to hear also that for you, you also have like your school is also very technical. And for us, I think I had one written exam only, and it was a test of like check. Like I didn't have to write. It was already thinking of like foreigners, like they just like make it like, like A, B, C, D, like choose one sort of thing. And that was really appreciative. Everything else was everything about like, like drawing,
Oh,
like more like I didn't have to write to take the classes. It was more about like the forms and the paperwork that was actually like challenging in that way. How, like, I mean, you mentioned that for you it's also technical. Is that the case so far?
well,
Or
we don't have a lot of tests, but right now we're having this class, and the teacher is, I think he worked as a director before, so
Mhm.
he assigned us like pretty much every week to write like reports. He will let us like watch like
Wow.
movies and like
Mm.
animations, and it's like how you feel about it, and then it's you have to like analyze like the camera angles, like camera walk, and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ekonte, and everything is
Yeah,
yeah.
storyboard.
And most kids, like Japanese kids, they because they were just out of high school and they have never written like reports before, so everybody's just like writing what they saw on the screen, basically. Yeah, so I think we're having the same struggle. Well, that's a good
Interesting. Oh,
thing
that's
though.
so
Yeah,
interesting.
we can talk
Wow.
about it and say, do you know how to write a report? I don't know. And I was like, you're Japanese, and they go like, yeah, but I graduated from high school. You might have more experience than me. I'm
I
like, but it's in
understand.
Japanese. But it's in Japanese.
You need to clone yours, like merge yours.
Yeah,
Like I'm
but
writing in
then
English, you translate. Whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I
good
know that
idea
feeling.
actually. That's a good idea actually. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to oh, you don't know how to do this either, and you're Japanese. Sweet, we had the same struggle. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and other than that, another test is about like the in between like drawings like nakawari. We
Yeah.
did that this week. I think there's one course is just
Mm.
basically just I guess you guys have that course too. It's just drawing like analog. It's like drawing paper, drawing on
Mm.
paper, like just drawing
Yes.
the nakawari
Traditional.
like in between animations,
Yes.
and also like
Yes.
tracing the ganga and
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yes. So basically we had to like start from like they give you like screenshots let's say like from Kinimation from other animes, and then you would trace it with your pen to get used to how thin it has to be, like how to finish the lines like pointy or more rough and so on, and then you start doing the in betweens like the nakawari. Then you go like to do like your own rough genga, like one nigen or something like that, like the second key animation and first key
Mhm.
animation. So yeah, it's cool, like you're doing the same steps that I did. I did not have to write reports, as you're mentioning. However, it's also not true that I didn't draw, because we had to do so like it was more like the we didn't have tests as in sense of reports and that, but we draw when I made like a kikaku scenario, which is basically a proposal for a script, right?
Oh, we did that
So
too.
I had to do like storyboards where you have to write in Japanese all around. So I did have to write in Japanese, but it was already part of the production of the animation pipeline, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. So, so
we're
that's
we're
something I would have to do anyway.
Yeah, we're working on that. Like I think during the summer break, we just finished our like scripts. We were required to rewrite this like Japanese folk tales. We were writing Momotaro. So, but like in our own way.
Right. Okay. Okay.
You guys did that too?
Interesting. We did
No.
similar things. We did similar things. Interesting. I did the Red Riding Hood, I think.
Oh, I'm just sticking it with Momotaro. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
just to say safe option, safe
Well,
option.
that was no, that was a storyboard anyway. But yeah, we had similar assignments.
Maybe it's just like because like our teacher is like he I think he owns a company right now, but I don't know, he's very strict about like you making sure you know every single step, so you have to do every step. Like I'm asking you to write this, you have to write this. And then it was like
Mm.
20 pages on scripts uh about Momotaro, and then
Ah,
there's like there's like characters and uh they write it like this,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
how we write this,
Like
and yeah.
vertical. Also, if it's a script like for like the voice actors, it's also a very different format. It's like something like boxes and so on. So it
But
has
for
its
me, yeah,
own structure.
yeah, but for me it kind of felt kind of nostalgic because like when I was in China in elementary
All right.
school, we did the calligraphy, so it's similar but also different, and 20
Yeah.
pages, so yeah. I mean, that was the assignment. We had to do
Your
it,
school
and
has tough things. Your school has tough things. Okay, so to wrap up, thank you very much, Kai, for being with us today. It was a super interesting conversation. I hope it also helped you, was fun for you, maybe.
yeah, it was super fun for me. Thank you for having me. It was just really, it was my pleasure, and so glad to be on this live stream. I've never done this before, and really helped me a lot to learn like these technologies. I'm an old man inside, so I know nothing about computers. But thank you for inviting me, and thank you for answering
Thank
all my
you.
questions. And I'm sure like all of the answers like you said in the video chat is gonna help a lot of people. Yeah.
I hope to. And for you too, you also gave like a lot of interesting insights that I never thought of, because it's, as you know, it's a very unique case. And if there's other people who's been through our story, I don't even know. Or I know it's like few cases we haven't touched. So it's very nice to see like other perspectives, other ways on how it works, someone else how it's working now. So I really appreciate having had this conversation. It was also fun, let's be honest. And hopefully, yeah, like people in the chat also appreciate like this and appreciate that. And they're talking about come back whenever you want, Kai. I say the same. We can make this happen again maybe in the future. I would love to. I would love to. I'm so awkward closing streams. I need to get better at this. Okay, everyone, goodbye. Have a lovely day or night or wherever you are.